If you're a hardcore Evan Rogers fan, and let's face it, why wouldn't you be? I'm hilarious and cool. You'll remember that at the beginning of the Epic Mickey iceberg, I mentioned that Sonic Heroes was one of my favorite games growing up. I did say that Epic Mickey is my favorite game of all time, but Sonic is easily my favorite video game franchise of all time. The series has been with me from a very young age, and whether it's a modern or a classic game, a good or bad, or really bad game, I have a hard time turning down the chance to play some Sonic. So imagine my excitement when, along with Sonic's 30th anniversary game, Sonic Frontiers, being announced last year, we also received word that a collection of every classic 2D Sonic game would be coming soon. A year went by and radio silence. That is, until... My pants are filled with poop. Sonic Origins, a remastered port of Sonic's 1, 2, 3, and Knuckles and CD, was finally unveiled to be releasing in 2022 on Sonic's birthday, June 23rd. Needless to say, I'm thrilled for this game, and I already have the Switch version pre-ordered, so I will let you all know my thoughts on it on launch day. But since this is a pretty big deal for me as a Sonic fan, I thought I could take some time out of all of your busy lives and make the anniversary of a billion-dollar franchise about me somehow. Since I'm still pretty new to the whole YouTube thing, I figured it would be interesting to make a more personal video than what you've seen from me so far and tell you all about my top 10 favorite Sonic games. I highly doubt our lists are going to be the same, so tell me your favorite Sonic games in the comments. I'm going to say this now, this list will not include any spin-offs or the like. Mostly because none of them were really worth putting on this list. Minus the kart racers, most of those are pretty sick. With all that said, let's get this started. Here are Evan Rogers' top 10 favorite Sonic the Hedgehog games. As of
June 22nd, 2022.
I don't think there would be any argument when I say that Sonic Rush is a pretty darn tootin' good Sonic game. Released in 2005 for the DS, this game came about at a weird point in Sonic Team's career. After a few mixed reviewed games, the next game would have to step things up and somehow still remind people of why they love Sonic to begin with. Enter the boost mechanic. Now synonymous with the character, Sonic's boost would allow for even greater speeds that make taking out standard enemies and completing levels in a short time way easier. We're also introduced to a new character, Blaze the Cat, who comes from another dimension. At least in this game. When Sonic and Blaze's universes are on the brink of collapse, the two must work together to stop their respective universes' Eggmen from taking over. This game's story is not super difficult to follow, much like the original 2D Sonics, but even still it raises the stakes from what we've seen from previous Sonic stories. And while the two playable characters' playstyles are virtually the same, it's cool to see how their stories weave into each other and how all of these characters interact. Where Sonic is more extreme and outspoken, Blaze is antisocial and serious. We've seen this before in characters like Shadow, but Blaze doesn't exist as a rival for Sonic. She doesn't oppose him the way Shadow does, so seeing the two interact allows for some great character moments that lead to some fun interactions in Sonic Rush Adventure. Something else I really love about this game is that, even though it's a portable release, it doesn't feel like Sega or Sonic Team felt the need to cut corners or make a shorter game just for the sake of putting out a new Sonic title. It feels like a fully fleshed out journey that could just as easily have been a console release. It's not too short and it's very self-contained, but it still feels like a worthy entry in the franchise that holds up as one of the better 2D Sonics even today. I have such a soft spot for Sonic Unleashed. It was one of the first video games I ever bought myself. It was my first encounter with a different Sonic voice actor. Heck, it was one of my first Sonic games. I have so many good memories with this title, and I honestly sometimes get a little emotional when I hear the opening riff to the game's theme that you just heard, Endless Possibility. Also, that song is sung by the lead singer of Bowling for Soup. I just think that that's really funny. Even still, Unleashed is a bit of a mixed bag for me, and I know I'm not exactly in the minority when I say that. I'm having the most fun with this title when it's being a Sonic game. The problem with that is that's only about a third of the game. I don't hate the nighttime Werehog stages by any means, but the fact that there's such a change from the high-speed daytime levels and that they're almost always about 3 times as long as the daytime stages means I'm usually ready to go back to the regular modern Sonic gameplay before I'm even halfway through a werehog stage. That said though, I really like the direction this game took. From the new gaming engine, to the art style, to the balance of dark and cartoony with the plot, I even enjoy the concept of the werehog gameplay. It's really inventive and provides a change of pace for anyone who might be new to the series and wants a nice, slower experience before blasting into Sonic's iconic speed. Not to mention that the game still looks great now, even with how limited the Wii port was. I mean, come on, even the boss levels are pretty fun. The Gaia Phoenix, the Egg Beetle, Perfect Gaia, and who can forget the Egg Dragoon? Like, actually, how can you? We've seen the Egg Dragoon in 3 different games. It's becoming the Green Hill Zone of Sonic bosses. For every misstep of Sonic Unleashed, there's a breath of fresh air just up ahead, and there's a reason so many people, including myself, look to this game as one of the definitive modern Sonic titles. Sonic Rush introduced the Sonic series to interdimensional aspects, but Sonic CD gifted this series with the confusion of time travel. And you know what? I think it works. Sonic CD was my introduction to 2D Sonic via the Christian Whitehead mobile ports, and I couldn't get enough. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of Wacky Workbench or Metallic Madness, the level design here is some of my favorite in the franchise. The soundtrack is amazing, featuring favorites like Stardust Speedway, Palm Tree Panic, and of course the game's theme, Sonic Boom. I even like the Game Over theme, specifically the Japanese version. It's just kind of catchy, what can I say? The first Sonic game gave us the good and bad endings, and that is implemented here too, but the traveling between past, present, and future really affects your journey and the way it all culminates. And this is where we first meet Amy and Metal Sonic, 2 characters who became series staples because of this game. Sonic CD also features some of my favorite sprite work and sound design when it comes to the classic games. The spring sound effect is so much more impactful, and the super peel out, just beautiful. CD even houses one of the creepiest Easter eggs in video game history. Ugh. For everything this game adds to the formula though, to me it just feels like Sonic 1.5. And there's nothing wrong with that. It implements some great concepts, but outside of Amy and Metal Sonic, we don't really see any of the other ideas this game has anywhere else in the series, minus the super peel out making its way to Sonic Lost World and the save function in Sonic 3. The major concepts this entry introduces are really interesting, but we don't see many of them anywhere else, and that's a major bummer. But I can't really blame the game for that. Regardless, the creativity and the imagination are what makes Sonic CD such a special chapter in the Sonic series, and I couldn't be happier to have had such a memorable welcome to the 2D side of Sonic.
If anyone ever asks you what the perfect game to describe the early 2000s is, I don't know why anyone would ask you that, just roll with it. I would argue the best answer you can give is Sonic Adventure 2. Specifically Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, since it's the only version of the game I've ever gotten to play. I had actually never played this game at all until I was in high school. I was way late in hopping on the SA2 hype train, but I am so glad I made it at all. Following the release of 1998's Sonic Adventure, a direct sequel would need to double down and improve every aspect of the first game, and that's exactly what Sonic Adventure 2 did. I want to say this first so I can gush about it now, but the soundtrack for this game,
really, the only word for it is...
Crush 40's work on Sonic Adventure is so important to the series, but for my money, I'd take the soundtrack for Sonic Adventure 2 any day. I mean, do I even need to say it at this point? Better visuals, tighter controls, and even better voice acting, but the largest takeaway from Sonic Adventure 2 is the living embodiment of early 2000s Edge, the ultimate life form himself. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen, for Shadow the Hedgehog! Seriously, this guy was so popular that even after spoilers for Sonic Adventure 2, his death at the end of the game, fans rioted in the streets for his return, leading to Sega making him a playable character in Sonic Heroes and even giving him his own spin-off game. This entry was a major step in the right direction after its predecessor. Where Sonic Adventure allows you to play as many different characters in their own campaigns, Sonic Adventure 2 gives players the options of the hero and dark stories, switching characters regularly to keep each playstyle fresh and keep the story from getting too convoluted. Plus, nearly every gameplay style from the original has made its way here. Speedy's Sonic and Shadow stages, treasure hunting with Knuckles and Rouge are familiar, but new stages featuring Tails and Eggman within large mechs make their introductions. The story has a lot more weight, and it's generally a more enjoyable gameplay experience. And yes, that includes the Chow Garden. I really enjoy Sonic Adventure 2, and with Azuka-san's comments on a potential Sonic Adventure 3 down the pipeline, I can only hope that we'll get a return to arguably Sonic's most popular series at some point in the franchise's near future. Remember my complaints with the Werehog levels from Sonic Unleashed? Imagine a 3D Sonic game that completely took those stages out. You kinda sorta get Sonic Colors. For the sake of clarity here, I'm talking about the Wii version of the game. The DS version is great, but it's the version I've played the least, and it's basically the third Rush game. I'll be honest, I wasn't crazy about this one when it came out. I loved what it did for the Sonic formula in terms of the normal gameplay, but the Wisps just seemed a little gimmicky for me. Not just that, but something about Sonic as a character was just off.
Baldy nose hair!
He was more of a douche than when we saw him last time in Unleashed, and I honestly missed that Sonic so much. A decade and a remaster later, Sonic Colors has really grown on me. Sonic's main trait is front and center, and the platforming is some of the best of the modern era. I learned to enjoy the Wisps and what they bring to the game, especially when you can pull off some really sweet tricks like using the hover Wisp to follow a long trail of rings to a larger reward, or even as a shortcut to the goal ring. But what I love most about the Wisps is that if they're not your cup of tea either, they're not necessary for completing a good portion of the levels. And even when you do have to use them, you never have to use them for very long. The entire soundtrack is an absolute banger here. Planet Wisp takes me back to my middle school days, and even though Crush 40 wasn't involved, the Asteroid Coasters tracks all give the stages a Sonic Adventure 2 type of feel to them, especially given that these levels definitely have a darker, grittier aesthetic than any other zone in the game. Another great aspect of Sonic Colors that, in retrospect, is probably the reason I didn't enjoy it when I was younger is the difficulty. This is one of the harder Sonic games in recent years. Sonic Unleashed had its fair share of difficult levels too, but Colors has moments that really tested my patience, especially if you're going for completion. I can admire the game for its difficulty because it isn't using it as a crutch to make the game longer just for the sake of making the game longer. You never have to 100% complete a game, but if you decide to commit to it, it should be rewarding, and that's exactly what Sonic Colors is. It's a challenging experience that rewards you for your willingness and perseverance. I wasn't expecting this one to be as low on the list as it is, but to no one's surprise, Sonic Heroes will always hold a special place in my heart. One of my first video games in the beginning of my personal journey into the Sonic series. I'll always remember being a little kid replaying Seaside Hill nearly every day after school and on weekends. Not just that, I exclusively played Team Sonic. That's right, I hadn't fully beaten Sonic Heroes until I was a senior in high school. I actually 100% completed Heroes and Super Mario World on the same day, and that day just so happened to be my 17th birthday. I can see why people have issues with Sonic Heroes, and to say that even I don't have problems with the game is a stretch. To put things into perspective a bit, the version of the game I grew up playing was the PS2 port. It's not as bad as everyone makes it out to be, but it isn't without its technical issues. Voice lines getting cut off, random graphical pop-ins, and some crazy frame rate drops plague the PS2 version of Heroes, and they aren't entirely absent from any of the other releases, but they are much more noticeable in the port I was raised on. That aside, Sonic Heroes does still succeed at capturing your heart. After Adventure 2, Heroes has a much lighter tone and nearly doubles the main cast of characters in the game preceding it. In fact, Heroes to this day holds the record for most playable characters in a platformer. You're able to control 4 different teams of 3 characters: Team Sonic, Team Dark, Team Rose, and Team Chaotix, each with a speed, flight, and power character. Each of these character variations provides new ways to get out of tricky situations and even battle other teams. I think the reason I latched onto this game so much and why I still do is how diverse it is with its gameplay. Sure, each team's respective characters are pretty much reskinned versions of another of the same ability, but with each team comes different kinds of gameplay. Team Sonic is your middle-of-the-road medium crew. Team Dark is for hardcore Sonic and platform game veterans. Team Rose's playstyle is much easier with fewer enemies and lower difficulty, and Team Chaotix focuses less on just getting to the goal and more on completing tasks to complete a level, like defeating a certain number of enemies, collecting enough rings, or racing to the finish before the clock runs out. Sonic Heroes exists for anyone and everyone, whether you're a die-hard fan or just starting out. Heroes has a place for you among its several playable characters, and that's something Sonic teams should be proud of. The developers, not Team let's just move on. What kind of top 10 Sonic games list would this be if I didn't include Sonic the Hedgehog 2? What? Sonic 2 was a bit of a tailspin for me. Wow, the jokes just keep on coming, huh? I hunted down a copy of it and a Sega Genesis so I could enjoy it in its original format, and no matter which way you spin it, Sonic 2 is a non-stop jam. This game was arguably the one that solidified Sonic's place as an icon in popular culture. What Sonic 1 did well, Sonic 2 did better, and it helped set the standard for what a Sonic game could be at that point. And what? Who's this? Why, it's just Sonic's sidekick and best buddy, Miles Tails Prower. Sonic 2 was the game to complete one of the most well-known duos in gaming. A Sonic game after Sonic 2 that didn't feature Tails was exceedingly rare, and it's a major testament to the game's impact on the franchise and the industry as a whole. And holy crap. What's that? He's in a little ball that's so— oh my god, he's going so fast! Now a move Sonic is rarely seen without, the spin dash was a major contributor of what made this game so much fun to play. If Sonic starts to run low on momentum, a spin dash could easily get him back to his top speed. Not just that, but the spin dash could also be used as an attack mechanism against enemies. This is another aspect of Sonic 2 that made such an impact that it's still seen in the most recent games. And I can't just not talk about Super Sonic. After collecting all 7 Chaos Emeralds through the game's special stages and obtaining 50 rings in any given level, Sonic can transform into a glowing, invincible version of himself, and once again, this is a part of the series that still makes its way into modern titles. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was a major indicator of what was to come, and the fact that we still see its influence after 3 decades now is incredible. I'm not sure what's left to be said about Sonic 3, so— oh wait, never mind, I have stuff to say. Sonic 2 put the original game to shame, but Sonic 3 took everything that Sonic 2 did and amped up the factor. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 didn't just set a new standard for Sonic, it set a new standard for platformers as a whole. The graphics are still gorgeous even today, the seamless transition between zones was a wonderful touch, the Blue Sphere special stages were a great challenge when compared to the earlier 2 games, the scope felt much more grand, and oh my sweet shit, the soundtrack! Without touching on Michael Jackson's troublesome past, his potential work on Sonic 3 really helped push the game to the crowd favorite status it has. It's epic and emphasizes the high-octane action of Sonic 3. And how could I forget every fan's ever adored Master Emerald guarding Red Echidna, Knuckles, making his series debut. Knuckles is one of my favorite Sonic characters, and this game introduced us to his character that would be carried over into later titles and even a movie, and soon his own television series. His character is very well established here, a gullible hothead with a heart of gold, and while games in recent years have sort of steered away from this characterization, I love how he was handled in the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 movie, and I can't wait to see what Sonic Team and even the team behind the movies does with Knuckles next. I can't get enough of how good the level design is here compared to previous titles. The sense of scale in Sonic 3 is incredible, and levels like Angel Island, Sky Sanctuary, and Hydrocity— yes, it's Hydrocity, get over it— are standouts of the series. Sky Sanctuary actually being my favorite 2D Sonic stage. Sonic 3 took everything that made Sonic great and improved on it, ending off Sonic's time on the Genesis with a bang. To me, the definitive way to play classic Sonic isn't even in a Sonic Team title. Sonic Mania is a near-perfect Sonic game in every way, and the reason for that is because it was actually made by the fans. I mentioned the Christian Whitehead port of Sonic CD that introduced me to 2D Sonic a while ago, and that guy is the one who spearheaded Sonic Mania. After working on the mobile ports of Sonic 1, 2, and CD, Christian Whitehead pitched his own Sonic project to Sega called Sonic Discovery, and while his initial pitch wouldn't make the final cut, he was still handed the reins to what would become Sonic's next major outing. In a year where we got 2 Sonic releases, it still astounds me that Sonic Mania, a title not even worked on by the team who created Sonic, was the better game. Props to Christian, Headcanon, and Pagoda West Games for their work on what I personally believe is Sonic's best game to date. Best, not my favorite. We still have one more entry after all. Sonic Mania is astonishingly beautiful in its retro design. While I still prefer the sprite used for Sonic in Sonic 3, the Mania sprite brings so much life and attitude to him, even when you're not controlling him. The brighter colors and more vibrant animations from each playable character makes them stand out against their more limited Genesis-era counterparts. The thing I appreciate most about Mania, though, is its ability to bring together the old and the new so seamlessly. We do revisit levels from Sonic's past like Green Hill and chemical plant zones, but new zones like Studiopolis and Press Garden fit right in with the classic art style. Sonic Mania brings so much to the table for Sonic. It's beautiful, inventive, full of life, and is exactly what Sonic 4 should have been. It celebrates the series in a loving and creative way, and my expectations are so high for a sequel to Sonic Mania because the team behind it know exactly what they're doing when it comes to this franchise. In my mind, in terms of Sonic games, it doesn't get much better than Sonic Generations. This title hit me right when I was ready to be amazed by video games, and it was a major player in my love for the blue blur. I grew up with 3D Sonic like in Heroes and Unleashed, but when I made first contact with a classic 2D game, I really began to realize how much this franchise means to people. So Sonic Generations was a perfect love letter to people like me who want the best of both worlds. Generations is a celebration of 20 years of unforgettable speed and platforming, reaching into the early days of Sonic and completely reworking it from the ground up. From replaying the classic Green Hill Zone from a whole new perspective to experiencing levels from modern titles from a side-scroller perspective, all the way to a climactic final battle with 2 different Eggmen, I think that's correct, that requires you to switch between the 2 playstyles on the fly. Not to mention the art gallery, in-game collectibles, and time trials that require a stronger understanding of each level to complete. Finishing each level rescues each of Sonic's friends, and defeating each zone's boss rewards you with a Chaos Emerald, making Sonic Generations the last mainline entry to date that made the Chaos Emeralds an actual important part of the story. Fingers crossed for Frontiers. The game features remixes of many fondly remembered Sonic tracks like Escape from the City, Open Your Heart, and even Super Sonic Racing from Sonic R. The art gallery contains several pieces of concept art for games throughout the series up to that point, and you can actually play the entire original Sonic the Hedgehog when you purchase an actual Sega Genesis and controller from the in-game upgrade store. I love colors as much as the next guy, but if you ask me, Generations deserves a remaster just as much. Like I said, this game is a perfect love letter to the series and its fans. No matter when or where in your life the franchise made its way to you, there's something here for you. Insane 3D boost levels? Check. Classic 2D platforming levels? That's here too. Complete basic remasters of previous zones and boss battles, entirely new content giving the game even more depth and replay value, it's all here. And last but not least, it's an overall well-made game. Tight controls on both versions of Sonic, creative designs and implementations of levels from older titles, and plenty of extras to unlock mean more hours to dedicate to a beautifully crafted journey through Sonic's history. Generations has everything you could ever want out of a Sonic game, and that's why it's always been my favorite of the series. It takes me right back to being 8 years old playing Sonic Heroes in the basement, or being 13 playing Sonic CD on my phone in the car. Sure, it's an anniversary title, but no matter when or where I'm playing it, I'm always reminded of why I love Sonic to begin with. And there you have it, my top 10 favorite Sonic games in preparation for Sonic Origins
tomorrow.
And like I said at the beginning of this video, my thoughts on these games are purely subjective and you're absolutely allowed to disagree with me. This is just a video I wanted to make that was a little more personal so we could get excited for Sonic Origins and so you guys could get to know me a little better. But either way, let me know your favorite Sonic games in the comments, and if you're excited for Origins and even Frontiers later this year. Speaking of which, I would like to make a major announcement regarding the future of my channel. June is Sonic's anniversary month, but it's also Pride Month, and as an ally of the LGBTQ community, I don't want to take away from that month's celebrations. So, since Sonic's birthday is late in June anyway, I'd like for July to regularly be known as Sonic Month on the channel effective next summer. That's right, starting next year, the month of July will be entirely dedicated to Sonic the Hedgehog, and I'll be putting out, at minimum, 2 videos for the month relating to Sonic in some way. This series means a lot to me, and I already have tons of ideas for Sonic content, so I'm looking forward to celebrating Sonic Month next year in July 2023 with all of you. But spoiler, I will definitely be working on another project for the release of Sonic Frontiers this holiday season, so be on the lookout for that. And of course, you can be notified when that video comes out by hitting subscribe and hitting the bell. That way, when my Sonic Frontiers video is out, you won't miss it, because trust me, you won't want to. But that means you also won't be missing any of my other content, because you won't want to miss any of that either. Thank you guys so much for watching my top 10 favorite Sonic games. I have been Evan, have a happy birthday, and please, sleep tight.